Just what I heard.
We all did. We all did.
Please, somebody, my wife needs help.
What's wrong with your wife?
She gets sick when the weather's foul. Can't... Our son, him... Please.
That's the last of the bread. Going to be a long, hungry night. These people need food. They're around. Too dangerous to go hunting now. Good luck. Luck.
Thank you. Could be better.
You're kind of a force of nature, aren't you?
When I need to be.
It's impressive.
You flatter me.
I'm trying.
Did I do... One day they may write about me as a traitor, a madwoman, a fool. And they may be right.
What does your faith tell?
And I believe... But is this the Maker's will? I can only guess.
You don't think...
I think...
What's going to happen?
Now... And if there are... I only pray the price is not too high.
You didn't have any choice.
I see what must be... But I misjudged you, and... I cannot afford to be so careless again.
Can't say I'm not grateful to him.
I can be... You've said you don't believe you're chosen. Does that mean you also don't believe in the Maker?
I'm Dalish. I believe in our own gods.
And there's no... I suppose it does... I have to believe... Now it simply remains to see where it leads us. It occurs to me I don't actually know much about you.
What do you want to know?
I'm not sure. Where are you from?
My clan never stayed in one place for long.
Oh? I'm told some members of your clan might still be alive. Do you intend to go back?
I might.
It will not be the same once you do.
I'd like to get...
You would?
Is that a problem?
Not entirely. I'm just curious as to your motivation.
Is there any harm in us becoming a little closer?
Plenty.
Is that right?
As you wish. My name is Cassandra. I joined. I remained. That's all there is to know, my lord.
You're a member...
The Pentagon...
Really?
And they have him. Oh, yes. The Pentaghasts value their precious blood like it...
And you joined this...
It was a lot. The Pentaghasts... Most of... My brother was all that kept me in Navarra.
Tell me about your...
I would prefer not to speak of Anthony. Another time, perhaps.
You don't seem to...
My family... What little I saw... My uncle treated me like a pussy. Thus, I did not see Navarra. The real Navarra until much later. By then, I realized I knew it not at all.
Your uncle? What about your parents?
They had the misfortune of taking the wrong side in the second attempt to overthrow King Marcus. The king executed them, but spared my brother and I since we were family, and children at the time. Thus we were raised by my uncle, a mortale Tarsi who preferred the company of his corpses to the living.
Your uncle was a mortale Tarsi.
A death mage. He still is. My countrymen do not burn the dead, they bury them in special crypts. The mortale Tarsi supervise the crypts, like priests. Uncle Vestalis oversees the grand necropolis. Nevarans spend more time honoring dead relatives than they... It is odd to be so fascinated with death and its trappings. I will never...
So you were the right...
To Divine Justinia, yes. And Divine Beatrix before her, in fact. The position is normally...
Unusual how?
You don't know? I will tell you if... The short version is that I once saved the previous Divine's life. My re...
But what does a right...
What is your hand capable? Liliana... After Beatrix. I was tired of the position and wanted to but Justinia convinced me to stay. Her vision for the future gave me hope.
You thought she could really...
Justinia knew the war was coming long before it began. She tried to avert it, but the forces are... Sometimes you have to break a bone so it can be reset. That... It was to be the answer. A means to preserve as well as an agent for change. I only wish she had lived to see it.
So what's the...
Sweet... It was... The tale gets bigger each time it's told. I barely recognize myself within it now.
I'm sure you're just...
To hear others tell it, I alone saved Divine Beatrix from a horde of dragons sent to assault the Grand Cathedral. Rather impressive for such a young seeker, wouldn't you say?
And the truth is?
I stumbled upon a conspiracy to kill Beatrix. A Templar Knight Commander was at its heart. And there was a dragon battle at the Grand Cathedral. But I had help from loyal mages who rallied to the cause. They freed the dragons from magical control. Without them, the Divine and I would both have died. Yet I became the right hand, and they are forgotten.
You're delightful, you know that?
No, I do not know that. I object. There is nothing delightful about me.
I beg to differ.
I think I preferred you in the stocks.
I'll let you get back...
Do you need something?
I have some more questions.
Why am I not surprised?
Tell me about...
I would prefer not...
I'll let you get...
Do you need something?
Can you tell me more about...
The Seekers... Seekers... We were meant to be incorruptible. Above reproach.
But what are Seekers exactly?
Those who know anything of us think we are Templars. We do not use lyrium, however. Our abilities are different, as was our original purpose. We disciplined the Templars and were accountable only to the Divine. And not even her, truthfully.
So nobody ever watched over the Seekers?
It was the Divine's duty, but she could only do so much when the truth was hidden from her. The Templars have always feared us. When a Seeker arrived at a circle, they knew trouble was afoot. That kind of power is troubling. You begin to think you are the only one who can solve the world's problems. If you don't see a problem, it doesn't exist. If someone insists it does, they are the blind ones.
Do you think that kind of problem could ever be fixed?
Possibly. Though the Seekers themselves would need to change. They were clearly not willing to, even though they abandoned everything they stood for to avoid it. In my heart, I believe they can still be salvaged. But
You mentioned that Seekers have different abilities.
entirely. Ours, we cannot. Seekers can gain other gifts. So that depends.
What kind of gift?
I can. Some seek. Once there was a Seeker who could use it to kill. That particular gift is considered rare.
Why did you...
We originally united with the Chantry through a treaty that stated it was felt Most Holy had tacitly allowed the Circle of Magi to vote on its independence, thus breaking the treaty. The Seekers saw themselves as justified, and they led the Templars into a war of righteousness.
You sound like you...
We knew what was happening at Kirkwall, where the Mage Rebellion began. We looked into reports of Knight Commander Meredith's harsh treatment of her charges years earlier. But we found so many shocking cases of magical corruption, it was decided her actions were justified. If we'd been there when it happened, if we'd looked harder at the root causes,
You seem to care a great deal.
too much. When faced with a problem, we would find the moment the mages voted for independence, our response was predictable. It was difficult to watch.
How does someone...
Most seek. We train rigorously for years. Our bodies and minds must be elastic to undergo the vigil, and most fail even then.
Is the vigil some kind of initiation?
It is the rite every seeker must go through in order to summon their gifts. A full year of fasting, prayer, and separation from all distractions, including other people. We empty ourselves of all emotion, focusing only on the purity of our devotion. And the moment it finally ends, it's wonderful. Faith realized. I cannot put it into words.
Was it some kind of magic?
I don't fully understand it, to be honest. If the vigil was not so arduous, I'd say more should attempt it. What if mages never needed to fear possession by demons? I'm told it is impossible, however. I suppose I'll never know the truth of it now.
I've no more questions.
Do you need something?
May I ask you about...
It is difficult. They have not. It has fallen apart when everyone needs it the most.
Do you really believe...
I do. Cast the chant. The people need. Andraste had a dream for us.
So what should that...
A dedicate. Instead of build. If we are to spread the Maker's word across the world, we must do.
That sounds rather...
Does it? The Chantry. They need to be. A chance for renewal is at our fingertips.
What influence did...
He's a bureaucrat. Therefore, despite that, some might agree. As far down the chain of command as he is,
How big a problem...
no more. He sent his mess. Dealing with him further only lends him credibility he doesn't deserve.
Will the Chantry...
They will try. Once the... Sometimes... The problem now is that no clear successor to Justinian.
So what happens if...
Theoretically, they will argue until exhaustion takes them or they see reason. Practically, however, if the grand consensus goes on too long, the Chantry will crumble. Any cleric with ambition but little sense will see this as her one chance, and plenty of such clerics exist. We shall see what happens. The Inquisition must act in the meantime.
If they do choose...
That depends on whether she would... And even if she would, I am no longer in a position to follow blindly.
I'm surprised you...
I left my own, but in neither case, I suppose history shall one day judge me.
Thank you.
cannot stay here.
Why not?
Because we're Templars.
What does that even mean anymore? That we splinter and fight amongst ourselves?
I should look around.
Goodbye.
Come on, you've seen our mounts. Most of them should be pulling plows.
With passioned breath does the darkness creep. It is the
got demons
whisper in
pouring
the
out
night,
of the rifts.
the lie.
You're worried about the rifts. I understand that.
Master Harry said there's...
Tell Master Harry that war doesn't grow on trees.
Yes, Mom. I think he knows, Mom. He talked about how we have to dig it up.
Your kind killed the most holy. Lies. Your kind let her die. Shut your mouth, mate!
Enough!
Knight Commander!
That is not my title. We are not Templars any longer. We are all part of the Inquisition.
And what does that mean, exactly?
Back already, Chancellor. Haven't you done enough?
I'm curious, Commander, as to how your Inquisition and its herald will restore order as you've promised.
Of course you are. Back to your duties, all of you. Mages and Templars were already at war. Now they're blaming each other for the Divine's death.
Which is why we require a proper authority to guide them back to order.
Who? You? Random clerics who weren't important enough to be at the Conclave?
The Rebel Inquisition and its so-called Herald of Andraste? I think not.
If the proper authority hadn't completely failed, the Conclave wouldn't have been needed.
So you suggest I blame the Chantry and exalt a murder? What of justice?
That won't help restore order in the here and now.
Order will never be restored so long as this
Remind me, why you were...
Clearly, your Templar knows...
He's toothless. The Chancellor's a good indicator of what to expect in Val Royeaux.
How widespread?
Impossible to...
Your organ...
With the Conclave destroyed, I imagine the...
The mages and...
Exactly why...
Or we'll be happy...
You think no...
But you won't grieve if the Herald of Andraste is conveniently swept under a carpet.
Well, let's hope we find solutions and not a cathedral full of chancellors.
The stuff of nightmares.
Mock, if you will. I'm certain the Maker is less amused.
Speak only the word. Sing only
Researcher
the
Minave, which-
chant.
Greetings,
Then the
Herald of
golden
Andraste.
city is thine.
How fares your quest to seal the breach?
Not as well as it should. How can people focus on trivialities when faced with the breach?
It is easy for us to imagine that mundane matters fall aside in tumultuous times. The Chant of Light does not speak of feeding troops or arranging meetings, but every organized... These trivialities are steps on your path to victory, even if history never remembers them.
You realize that I follow my people's gods, not the Maker.
Fair enough. But Andraste lived, and her deeds, however shrouded by myth, have their basis in fact. If you do not believe the Chant of Light, at least consider it a map of the dangers you might face. In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
Is there an...
My healer, if you could... It may not seem like much, but it would enable my healers to save many lives.
Can you tell me?
The original, the Inquisitors were hunters. As Andraste rose to power, instead of hunting those who would do harm, the Inquisitors spread the Chant of Light by force.
It sounds as though it was necessary at the time.
Perhaps. They committed acts I find reprehensible, but they lived in a time with no circles. There was no justice, no safety from the danger of mages, or abominations, except for them. In any case, the Inquisitors became the seekers of truth, and eventually the Templars. Do you know what impressive? They fought, perhaps, but when its work is done, it will put its...
Do you know who the...
It is a difficult... The Grand Cleric, whoever is chosen needs the Inquisition's support. No one else...
How are the people
They are scared. I doubt I have offered... What more do you wish to know?
How are the village...
They are in their mind. To that, at the breach.
What are you doing to...
My sister... Some... Beyond that, it is little enough work to...
Do you have information on people elsewhere?
The refugees, villagers, people are vanishing in the hills of Emprise de Lyon. More than that I cannot say. It is a chaotic time for...
Farewell.
Make her...
The Inquisition cannot remain, Ambassador, if you can't prove it was founded on Justinian's orders.
This is an inopportune time, Marquis. More of the faithful flock here each day. But allow me to introduce you to the brave soul who risked his life to slow the magic of the breach. Master Lavelan, this is the Marquis d'Aurelion, one of Divine Justinia's greatest supporters.
And the rightful owner of Haven. House d'Aurelion lent Justinia these lands for pilgrimage. This Inquisition is not a beneficiary of this arrangement.
This is the first I've heard of Haven having an owner outside the Chantry.
My wife, Lady Machin of Denner, has claim to Haven by ancient treaty with the monarchs of Ferelden. We were honored to lend its use to Divine Justinia. She was a woman of supreme merit. I will not let an upstart order remain on her holy grounds.
People have been injured. You can't just turn them out onto the snow.
And who benefits if they stay?
Divine Justinia, Marquis. The Inquisition, not the Chantry, is sheltering the pilgrims who mourn her.
Why is the Chantry ignoring the faithful?
Because it remains in shock. We face a dark time, Your Grace. Divine Justinia would not want her passing to divide us. She would, in fact, trust us to forge new alliances to the benefit of all, no matter how strange they might seem.
I'll think on it, Lady Montilyet. The Inquisition might stay in the meanwhile.
Do the Durelions actually have a claim on this place?
His Grace's position is not so strong as he presents it. Despite their Ferelden relations, the Durelions are Orlesian. If the Marquis wishes to claim Haven, Empress Selene must negotiate with the Ferelden on his behalf. Her current concerns are a bit larger than minor property disputes.
I apologize for the intrusion. I didn't realize you were meeting with the Marquis.
You did little harm. In truth, the debate was most beneficial as practice for those to come.
You expect more people in Haven?
Undoubtedly. And each visitor will spread the story of the Inquisition after they depart. An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
May I ask what brought you to...
Sister Lelian, For better or worse, being the Inquisition.
What sort of deal?
For some years, the nobility of Thedas is a rather singular sphere. Those I'm not acquainted with,
If every noble wandering by is as stubborn as the Marquis...
Every kingdom... But please excuse... What may I do for you?
Tell me how you came to work for the...
I'd been considered... There's such an... It's to everyone's benefit if we prevent the...
So was it the
The full impact... The violence must be curbed before we see it turn to full-scale war.
I can only imagine...
I'm afraid history holds many examples of what will happen.
How do you and...
We moved... I believe we actually met in Val Royeaux.
What exactly do you mean?
It's a rather light-hearted name for the matter, but our legions are fond of playful touches. We began... We once sent entire fleets across the Waking Sea. No. These days...
What did you do?
I had the... I'm also first in line to become the head...
How strong are you?
I would never have... We cannot... If anything, the alliances I forged...
Do you think the...
If we prove our... Protection, counsel...
Tell me.
I should... The miracle... Well, in any case...
Let's speak...
Goodbye. What may I do for you?
What exactly does your job in...
I meet with them... We are a young cause. Diplomacy is essential to our credibility.
Then you speak...
I do. As well as prevent controversy as news of us spread.
How heavily...
Make no... Many are... I intend to see that they are. Farewell.
You're the Herald. Or, well, the one they're calling the Herald, anyway. It's odd to see them accepting a mage as their hero. Especially a Dalish elf. One look at your face and it's clear you were never part of a circle. My name is Maeve. I research demons and other creatures. Seeker Pentagast and I use what I find to help the soldiers fight them. No, just... Circle mate. I was never very... When the mage... Luckily, Seeker Pentagast took me in. Along with the Tranquil I was protecting.
I'm surprised...
I don't like you. I liked study. I liked having the Templars around to keep us safe.
You might have done...
Fenrir will take the Dalish. Don't let my lack of Valisleen fool you, Lethleen. I was a proud member of my clan until my magic manifested. They gave me a pack and sent me into the woods to find my own life. I was 7 years old.
No wonder you'd rather stay in the circle. You had more than...
I stumbled into the village's... Templars say... I've seen what life is like without the Templars, and I want no part of it.
You said that you were...
Yes. They don't have any It's a shame. I like them better than most people.
Why would you want to spend...
They're polite. When they stop. But the Templar... If not for that, I don't know. Doesn't really matter.
I found some...
Yes, that's... That will help. You've brought back some fascinating things. We're putting them to good use.
You said Cassandra...
Yes. I may be... At the least, some materials are useful for making potions or gear.
Why did you do...
I like the out... When some... But once you... So much of this world is only
I'll speak with you.
Thank you again.
Chancellor Roderick came to speak with me. Could you try not to antagonize him?
If I offend the man so easily, perhaps he should try leaving me alone.
Let's see what we have. Let us begin.
All right.
When there was no sky maker, you were the sky. When there was no earth, you were the earth. When there was nothing.
As I explored the Fade, I felt the presence of an intriguing artifact in the hinterlands. If you are willing, I would like to locate it. I have marked its location as best I could determine.
We'll talk later. Goodbye.
Thank you.
You're back. And in one piece.
You said you thought Master Ta-
You want some of these mixed up? You just give the word. Just take it. Perhaps another time. One down!
apostates! The apostates have fled to the hills.
That had to hurt!
What is that?
Strange. Where does this lead?
People will think twice before attacking the Inquisition now.
This must be one of the supply caches Recruit Whittle wished us to find.
Mages and Templars and innocent people caught in the middle. Some things never change.
Hopefully the Inquisition can find some way to help these people.
So, as a Seeker, you're the highest ranked person in the Inquisition, but you're not in charge.
Liliana's rank equals my own, insofar as our rank means anything outside the Chantry.
But you want to get shit done, right?
I declared the Inquisition, but I don't know that I'm best suited to command it. Perhaps you're interested in the position, since you seem so interested.
Oh, no you don't. Leave me out of that mess.
The skull illuminates certain objects in the distance. I am not familiar with such magic.
Of course, it had to be a skull that lights up creepy shit.
It must have been some time since the Renegade Templars faced a mage of any talent. That tower is impressive, even as a ruin. I wonder what dreams it might hold.
That's what the skull helped you find? Right. Not ominous at all.
Perhaps the Inquisition could determine the nature of these objects.
Watch your step.
Fine day to you.
What do you need?
We could make camp here. Nothing to report, sir. Look, that's the King's Road down there. Nothing to report, sir. Look at this. The apostates have gone mad with power.
The Templars aren't looking any better here.
We should move on. We can only restore order by securing an alliance. Varric. You joined the Inquisition when Seeker Pendergast questioned you.
She was very insistent that I help.
Interesting.
What's interesting?
It's surprising that an elven apostate is the one who joined the Inquisition voluntarily.
Templars have secured a position ahead.
safer on the King's Road now.
We must still deal with the apostates, however.
Let's look around.
Not as many as would have if we weren't here. Now hush and part.
I will keep the peace, while you and the others appeal to the Chantry in Val Royeaux.
Better ready yourself for the blame you will be rightly assigned.
Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word
We're not
dispels
equipped to
the
care for this
darkness
many
of
refugees.
Master Laverin, do you have a moment?
Did you need something, Ambassador?
Yes. Well, not precisely, but I should like to know if anyone here has treated you unkindly, Herald, for being an elf.
Is something happening?
Not at the moment. I only wanted to make sure. If we're to convince the world that Andraste's Herald is an elf, the Inquisition must give you its utmost support. Stories of wild Dalish elves have grown even more outrageous as people learn of you.
Isn't the magic just as much a problem as my ears?
It depends which way the wind is blowing. Magic is meant to serve man, the chant teaches. Close the breach, and we can claim that is why Andraste chose you. Hopefully it will be enough to replace this gossip about the Dalish.
How have the rumors gotten worse?
I would prefer not to repeat them.
Give me something.
Stealing children, selling peasants to slavers, burning down villages, using infants for blood magic. Those are the stories about your fellow Dalish. I won't repeat what they've said about you.
Why not claim the Dalish can steal your breath or turn into dragons while they're at it? Now that I've said that out loud, someone probably has.
Very likely. I will see what the Inquisition can do to contain the slander. It may help if I know more about how you and your clan lived.
The human towns we traded with ate the same food and suffered the same weather we did. The main difference was that they had homes while we wandered.
That must have been difficult. Still, you must miss your clan.
All my friends are there. Before I came to the Conclave, the clan was my whole world. I'd like to see them after everything is done.
I hope you get the chance. Whether you're with them or not, being the clan of the Herald of Andraste will mark them in history.
Elves have been swept under the rug or worse, rarely acknowledged as a part of this world. This is our chance to be a force no one can ignore.
History should look out. I believe you will succeed. Thank you for your time, Herald.
Let all repeat the chant of
Let's see what we have.
Let us begin. Having the Herald address the clerics is not a terrible idea.
You can't be serious.
Mother Giselle isn't wrong. At the moment, the Chantry's only strength is that they are united in opinion.
And we should ignore the danger to the Herald.
Let's ask him.
What can they do? It's just talk.
Don't underestimate the power of their words. An angry mob will do you in just as quickly as a blade.
I will go with him. Mother Giselle said she could provide us names. Use them.
But why? This is nothing but a...
What choice do we have, Leliana? Right now, we can't approach anyone for help with the breach. Use what influence we have to call the clerics together. Once they are ready, we will see this through. The city still mourns.
Just a guess, Seeker, but I think they all know who we are.
Your skills of observation never fail to impress me, Varric.
My Lord Herald.
You're one of Leliana's people. What have you found?
The Chantry Mothers await you, but so do a great many Templars.
There are Templars here?
People seem to think the Templars will protect them from the Inquisition. They're gathering on the other side of the market. I think that's where the Templars intend to meet you.
Only one thing to do, then. They wish to protect the people? From us?
They can certainly try.
We don't want a pitched battle in the middle of Val Royeaux.
That's their choice, isn't it?
You think the Order's returned to the fold, maybe? To deal with us upstarts?
I know Lord Seeker Lucius. I can't imagine him coming to the Chantry's defense. Not after all that's occurred.
It just means I have a larger audience to convince.
Perhaps. Return to Haven. Someone will need to inform them if we are delayed.
As you say, my lady.
of Val Royal, hear me. Together, we mourn our divine. A naive and beautiful heart, silenced by treachery. You wonder what will become of a murderer. Well, wonder no more. Behold, the so-called Herald of Andraste, claiming to rise where our beloved fell. We say this is a false prophet. The Maker would send no elf in our hour of need.
I make no such claim. I wasn't sent here by Andraste or the Maker. I'm simply trying to close the breach. It threatens us all.
It's true. The Inquisition seeks only to end this madness before it is too late.
It is already too late. The Templars have returned to the Chantry. They will face this Inquisition, and the people will be safe once more.
Still yourself. She is beneath us.
You're not here to deal with the Inquisition.
As if there were any reason to.
Lord Seeker Lucius, it's imperative that we speak with...
You will not address me.
Lord Seeker?
Creating a heretical movement. Raising up a puppet as Andraste's prophet. You should be ashamed. You should all be ashamed. The Templars failed no one when they left the Chantry to purge the mages. You are the ones who have failed. You who'd leash our righteous swords with doubt and fear. If you came to appeal to the Chantry, you are too late. The only destiny here that demands respect is mine.
If you're not here to help the Chantry, then you just came to make speeches.
I came to see what frightens old women so, and to laugh.
But Lord Seeker, what if he really was sent by the Maker? What if...
You are called to a higher purpose. Do not question.
I will make the Templar Order a power that stands alone against the Void. We deserve recognition. Independence. You have shown me nothing, and the Inquisition, less than nothing. Templars, Val Royeaux is unworthy of our protection. We march.
Charming fellow, isn't he?
Has Lord Seeker Lucius gone mad?
Do you know him very well?
He took over the Seekers of Truth 2 years ago, after Lord Seeker Lambert's death. He was always a decent man, never given to ambition and grandstanding. This is very bizarre.
Fortunately, the Templars aren't our only hope.
I wouldn't write them off so quickly. There must be those in the Order who see what he's become. Either way, we should first return to Haven and inform the others.
Excuse me, but is what they're saying real?
The Inquisition's going to fix the hole in the sky?
Why do you want to know?
No one is doing anything. The Chantry's useless, and the Templars... Andraste. Listen.
You want to help?
Never been part of something this big before, but...
What do you think?
I think
Well...
The Herald of Andra. Haven is a mess, but we won't turn away anyone.
Head to Haven, then.
I don't know if I'm that, but... Thank you.
Ever since our Divine was murdered, toothless old fools are lost without her.
What's that? An arrow with a message?
The Templars didn't even touch you.
My Maker, know my heart. Take from me a life of sorrow. Comfort is only yours to give. Oh, Maker, where is the comfort? Look away. I have broken the chant because it comes from my heart. What have we when our Divine is dead and the sky burns?
The Inquisition can give you the answers you need.
So I have a faith I've lost, or one that seeks to drive it from me. I can't even look to our Templars. How is this not darkness?
The Lord Seeker may not think you're a threat.
I believe that messenger is trying to get our attention.
You are the Herald of Andraste, are you not? I have an invitation for you.
The Chantry has just shown themselves helpless. Who will fetch their Templars back, I wonder?
This victory must please you greatly, Seeker Cassandra.
We came here seeking only to speak with the mothers. This is not our doing, but yours.
And you had no part in forcing our hand? Do not delude yourself. Now we have been shown up by our own Templars, in front of everyone. And my fellow clerics have scattered to the wind along with their convictions. Just tell me one thing. If you do not believe you are the Maker's chosen, then what are you?
Someone who can help close the breach and end this madness.
That is more comforting than you might imagine. I suppose it is out of our hands now. We shall all see what the Maker plans in the days to come.
How many Templars?
The Whites... Perhaps more shall flock to the Lord Seeker's banner now.
How are people...
Despair. There must... We abandoned our duties. We servants of the faith. Now we can only pray.
You're obviously skeptical.
Our Divine. Her...
That doesn't answer my question.
For you to be true, a great many things must... There is chaos ahead, whatever your intentions. Now it falls on us to...
Provided...
I truly don't know what becomes of us and your...
Where is the Lord
There must...
Must there? Is crafting the Templars into a new power really any worse than declaring a rival to the Chantry itself?
Where is the...
Of course. He's crafting the Templars into a new power. Really and...
What were you hoping that...
Put aside, obviously.
Perhaps they...
I'd like to believe... I suppose we can expect renewed effort against the mages from him, and yet more chaos.
It's not too late. The Chantry could still help us and come out on top.
If only that were true.
What's to stop you from trying?
We are not looking for a winning horse. We are simply trying to do the right thing. Leave me be, Survivor. Your presence here is not comforting.
There's got to be a way to...
I hope...
There must be something here.
Templars left us to the mages. Chantry liars.
There is a war on, and the Templars just left?
I know what you are.
We maintain an Inquisition presence on Commander Cullen's order.
Maker.
Rassurez, Seigneur, de quoi sont faits tes secrets. Les larmes que tu verses sont douces amères, tes intentions sont-elles sincères?
How's it been? All's well, it seems.
Be careful.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry. Minding the duties of the ailing mother, Havara. I am rather overwhelmed. Forgive me. I am unsure whether I meant to extend chantry services to you, and that troubles me greatly.
Do we?
Inquisition, eh? I'll sell. But if the Chantry censures you, I'm not liable.
Ah, the Herald of Andraste. Is there something I might help you with?
No. Thank you, sister.
Make her go with you.
Oh, yes.
If I might have a moment of your time.
Grand Enchanter Fiona?
Leader of the Mage Rebellion. Is it not dangerous for you to be here?
I heard of this gathering, and I wanted to see the fabled Herald of Andraste with my own eyes. If it's help with the breach you seek, perhaps you should look among your fellow mages.
Fellow mages? We have nothing in common.
More than you'd think, and certainly more in common than with Templar thugs. Consider this an invitation to Redcliffe. Come, meet with the mages. An alliance could help us both, after all. I hope to see you there. Au revoir, my Lord Herald.
Come, let us return to Haven.
Herald of Andraste! How much did you expend to discover me? It must have weakened the Inquisition immeasurably.
I don't know who you are.
You don't fool me. I'm too important for this to be an accident. My efforts will survive in victories against you elsewhere.
Just say what?
What is that?
Ugh.
Squishy one, but you heard me, right? Just say what? Rich tits always try for more than they deserve.
Blah, blah, blah. Obey me. Arrow in my face. So, you followed the notes well enough. Glad to see you're... And you're an elf. Well, hope you're not too elfy. I mean, it's all good, isn't it? The important thing is you glow. You're the herald thingy.
You killed him before he could say who he worked for.
And before he could shout magic. What? My people said the Inquisition would want him dead. So he's dead.
Your people? Elves?
No. People. Name's Sarah. This is cover. Get round it. For the reinforcements. Don't worry. Someone tipped me their equipment shed. They've got no breaches.
Why didn't you take their weapons?
No breaches. Friends really came through with that tip. No breaches. So, Herald of Andraste. You're a strange one. I'd like to join.
All I know about you or your group is that I followed a random trail into a trap.
What trap? You knocked, he crapped. Look, it's like this. I sent you a note to look for hidden stuff by my friends. The Friends of Red Jenny. That's me. Well, I'm one.
So is a fence in Montfort, some woman in Kirkwall. There were 3 in Starkhaven, brothers or something. It's just a name, yeah? It lets little people, friends, be part of something while they stick it to nobles they hate. So here, in your face, I'm Sarah. The friends of Red Jenny are sort of out there. I use them to help you. Plus arrows.
The Inquisition.
Here's how it is. Then you've got all those secrets. So no, I'm like those guards. I stole their... Look, do you need...
So who are you?
Oh, it's not... Someone little. Doesn't always work. And someone has to have explained to them that...
Back there you wanted...
That's what you... True or not?
True or not?
Well, that's what they say and all. Look, don't get ahead, yeah? I want to help the...
You sound like... And that might be bad?
Oh, right. You want to prop that guy up so I can say my sorries? Bad things should happen to bad people. We find someone not so bad, maybe he'll end up not so dead. Good enough?
You said that like...
I knew about.
That's just rumor.
Look, I'd have been fine stripping his guards and nicking his stuff. Turns out he deserved worse. Or was him trying to kill you a good thing? Are you the baddie? Didn't think so.
All right, Sarah. I can use you and your friends.
Yes! Getting good before you're too big to like. That'll keep your breeches where they should be. Plus extra breeches because I have all these... You have merchants. Anyway, hey...
Master Lavellen, on behalf of the Inquisition.
A pleasure, sir. We so rarely have a chance to meet anyone new. It is always the same crowd at these parties. So you must be a guest of Madame de Fer. Or are you here for Duc Bastien?
Are you here on business? I have heard the most curious tales of you. I cannot imagine half of them are true.
What have you heard about me?
Some say that when the veil opened, Andraste herself delivered you from the Fade.
I'm not familiar with that name. I was invited here by
Madame de Fer.
I've heard she finds it amusing.
I've heard very little.
He hasn't been...
His business with the Council of Heralds often takes him from home for long periods. It can't be good for a man of his years.
And of course, there's the Civil War. Bastien probably wishes to distance himself from the actions of his one-time son-in-law.
Tearing up the Dales in a foolish bid for power? It will end in disgrace for Gaspard. Everyone knows it.
Some of those storytellers may have gotten carried away.
But only...
The Inquisition. What a lot of pig shit. Washed-up sisters and crazed seekers. No one can take them seriously. Everyone knows it's just an excuse for a bunch of political outcasts to grab power.
The Inquisition is working to restore peace and order to Thedas.
Here comes the outsider, restoring peace with an army. We know what your Inquisition truly is. If you were a man of honor, you'd step outside and answer the charges.
My dear Marquis, how unkind of you to use such language in my house to my guests. You know such rudeness is intolerable.
Madame Vivienne, I humbly beg your pardon.
You should. Whatever am I going to do with you, my dear? My lord, you're the wounded party in this unfortunate affair. What would you have me do with this foolish, foolish man?
The Marquis doesn't interest me. Do whatever you like with him.
Poor Marquis. Issuing challenges and hurling insults like some Ferelden doglord. And all dressed up in your Aunt Solange's doublet. Didn't she give you that to wear to the Grand Tourney? To think all the brave chevaliers who will be competing left for Markham this morning, and you're still here. Were you hoping to sate your damaged pride by defeating the Herald of Andraste in a public duel? Or did you think his sword would end the shame of your failure? Run along, my dear. Do give my regards to your aunt. I'm delighted you could attend this little gathering. I've so wanted to meet you. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Vivienne, first Enchanter of Monsimard and Enchantress to the Imperial Court.
Is that Marquis going to pose a problem?
His aunt is the Vicomtesse of Mont de Glace. Not a powerful family, but well respected. And very devout. Alphonse will be disowned for this. It's not the first time he's brought his aunt disgrace, but I'm sure it'll be the last. And after such a public humiliation, I expect he'll run off to the Dales to join the Empress's war effort. Either to make a good end, or to win back a modicum of self-respect.
You invited me here. What is it you want?
I wanted to meet face to face with Divine. Only the... As the leader of the last loyal Major...
Is your in...
It's professional, of course.
What exactly...
I am well versed. I have all the... And I'm a mage of no small talent.
You say you...
To the people of... We have not... I support any effort to restore such order.
What's in this?
The same thing. The chance to meet my enemy, to decide...
What exactly...
I am well versed in... I have all... And I'm a mage of no small talent. Will that do?
Does that mean...
Ordinary... The veil has been... It is now the duty of every mage to work towards sealing...
Are you devout?
I was a great... The Chantry... Had she lived, Justinia could have accomplished so much.
You are...
The Chantry is... Besides, once the Inquisition has sealed the breach, I'm sure the new Divine will not care in the slightest.
The Inquisition will...
Great thing.